Greetings, MASA members. I'm going to provide you a quick budget update regarding the House and Senate school aid budget proposals for fiscal year 22. This is a quick update. Just want to remind you that the information here is accurate-ish as of April 22nd, 2021. Don't consider this legal advice, obviously. We will be providing much more detail in future updates, but this is the quick high-level information that we think you would find useful as you look to the budget that was released today by the House and the Senate subcommittees on appropriations for K-12. The executive recommendation was presented on the 11th of February. We'll provide a link in the description of this video for you to take a look at those documents. Those are all bits of information you should have seen already or has been available through our updates and on our website. House Bill 4407, the H2 was released today out of the K-12 Subcommittee on Appropriations this morning at 10:30. The link for those documents is in the description, as well as the Senate Bill SB 83, which was also released this morning at an 8 a.m. meeting. There was bipartisan agreement that 8 a.m. meetings are no one's favorite, so we probably won't see that again, but we did see that come out today. The links for those documents are in the description. All in all, it appears that neither chamber spoke to one another when it comes to what's in these budgets. They're very different in a lot of ways. The House included a per-pupil increase of $50 to $100 for the foundation allowance using the 2X formula. That moves the minimum to $8,211. That is a 1.2% increase. And the maximum foundation allowance moves up to $8,579. That is a 0.6% increase. There is no cyber school reduction in the House budget. That is not entirely surprising. And the pupil membership definition is revised back to the more traditional 90-10 blend, eliminating the super blend that we have come accustomed to this year. It also changes some definitions in pupil definition that you can't count a student who lived out of state in the prior year in membership if you charged tuition. That is an issue we've dealt with in the past and is important to some of our members, so we'll be focusing in on that as well. The Senate side, they are providing $125 to $250 per pupil, moving the minimum foundation allowance to $8,361 and the maximum or target foundation to $8,654. They also eliminated the super blend and did not include a cyber school reduction. The House included a equal payment per pupil, about $120 per pupil. There is some discussion about some of the changes in the way MIPSRS is funded may outweigh that increase or at least negate it. So we're looking a little bit more closely at that. But know that that's coming in the House version. The Senate did not include this section. In the House, for GSRP, they increased it by $5 million, increasing the allocation per child from $7,250 to $7,400 for a full-day program, and from $3,625 to $3,700 for a part-day program. It does not include the executive recommendations to include a one-time increase for the longitudinal evaluation or to add child assessment tools as an eligible use of training funds. The Senate raised the per-child full-day slot payment from $7,250 up to the proposed minimum foundation allowance level of $8,275 per pupil, and they increased the longitudinal study appropriation from $350,000 to $600,000, moving the minimum, the full-day allotment to $8,275 is something that the association has supported and is widely supported in the field as well. The at-risk maintains the current year appropriation, but it agrees with the governor's recommendation to revise the allocation to certain districts from 30% to 35% of the amount for which they would have received otherwise. This is the hold harmless provision. It also strikes a few provisions that requires a use for instructional programs and direct non-instructional services, and the provision that allows up to 20% of funds for school security, and then a few other changes that we're still digging into. In the Senate, the at-risk funding is maintained with another $12 million for at-risk hold harmless funding. They didn't increase the percentages, but they did allow funds to be used for school parent liaison personnel and concurred in allowing funds to be used for pre-K services as the governor recommended. A new category, which many of our rural members will be happy to see, is a $50 million allotment for rural districts for transportation. It would provide $250 per pupil for districts with fewer than 10 pupils per square mile, $200 per pupil for districts with at least 10 but fewer than 15 pupils per square mile, and $150 per pupil for districts with at least 15 but fewer than 20 pupils per square mile. The Senate did not include this language. Year-round instruction, the House included a $25 million program for grants to districts that are implementing a year-round balanced calendar instructional program in at least one school building beginning in 2022 or in 2023 school year. An eligible district must pledge to provide the balanced calendar program for at least 5 consecutive school years, and it caps the grant at $150,000 per school. Specifically, they talked about air conditioning and things like that to use to offset the costs. Other items included in the House budget, the ISD general operating budget for Section 81. The House maintained the current year appropriation, guaranteeing each ISD would receive 100% of its fiscal year 21 funding, so no increases for ISD general operating there. The executive budget recommended a $200 million line item for declining enrollment. That is not included in the House version. And as far as parochial aid or reimbursements to non-public schools, the House did provide $2.5 million general fund dollars for expenses to be reimbursed, and allows for retroactive reimbursement of expenses from fiscal years previous. We anticipate the governor will line item veto that if it makes it across the finish line. Other things in the House budget, a new special education millage revenue supplemental payment was added. It provides about $20 million to eligible ISDs through a formula. It would require an ISD with a 3-year average special education millage revenue per pupil of at least $350 but less than $400 to equalize that. The amount needed to raise the ISD to $400. For an ISD with at least $400 but less than $500, the amount needed to raise the ISD spending to $500 per pupil. And for an ISD with at least $500 but less than $650, again, the amount to raise that spend to $650. For an ISD levying at the maximum millage rate, an amount equal to $150 per pupil would be provided. This requires an ISD's payment under Section 56, this section, to count toward calculations under the subsection that this is included in. Still digging into that, but it looks like it's an attempt to provide a boost in special ed funding for ISDs that are raising special ed millages and some sort of attempt at equalization. For benchmark assessments, the House is providing $11.5 million for districts to begin the implementation of a benchmark assessment for the 23 school year, provides a payment of $12.50 per pupil in grades K through 8, and requires a recipient district to pledge to administer benchmark or local benchmark assessments to all pupils in grades K-8 within the first 9 weeks of school, and again by the last day of school in the 2023 school year. It would require MDE also to report that benchmark data. School safety grants, the House is providing $10 million for competitive grants for public, non-public school districts and ISDs to create a safer environment through equipment and technology enhancements. It does cap the grants at $50,000 for a school district and $250,000 for an ISD. $50,000 per school, $250,000 per district or ISD. And then language that was included in the bill but struck out in committee today was a teacher network program, about $5.5 million for a statewide teacher network. It's a $1,000 stipend for teachers to participate in this program and conduct an annual conference. It was removed from the bill in committee. It is a priority of the chair, so I'm not entirely sure if that's going to stay or go. In the Senate added a 2% increase for ISD's Section 81 funding. It also includes language that would require ISDs to include public school academies in all communications where traditional local districts are included or not receive operational funding. Also in the declining enrollment area, the Senate did not include any declining enrollment, and it did include reimbursement for non-public schools. Section 20M includes language that has been used at various times in the past to ensure that districts with foundation allowances above the target receive the full per pupil dollar increase. This is not unfamiliar to most districts that receive these funds. There is a $100 placeholder for a program that provides dropout prevention solutions for at-risk students through social and emotional programs. And then there is a $1.3 million appropriation for a new competitive grant program for ISDs to support the TRAILS program, which provides training to school mental health professionals. Where the House and Senate quite a bit differ is that the Senate has a lot of categoricals, whereas the House eliminated many of them. You'll see here, there is the Orton-Gillingham Project, the Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs, the Chaldean Community Foundation, Conductive Learning, a placeholder for Launch Michigan, a Women in Technology grant, the Online Algebra Tool, Imagine Learning, Fitness Foundation, Teach for America, a Return to Learn study, and digital literacy. The Senate eliminated Section 31K, which is a $1 million line item for school lunch debt, and also the Return to Learn study. That brings us to the conclusion of our high-level analysis of this budget. Please keep a lookout for more details as they emerge and as we get more clarification on certain line items. We'll be meeting with staffers and budget folks to try and really wrap our heads around the details of this these latest proposals. They did both come out on Thursday, April 22nd, and we're recording this on the 22nd as well. So we will anticipate questions from you. So please drop questions in the comments or the email box at masagov@gomasa.org to have us answer those questions, and we will probably pull together another video and analysis that answers the most frequently asked questions. So thanks for tuning in today. Have a great day.